So Pearce, it's late in the summer, your senior year. What are you thinking before you even get the call from UNO, before you even meet with Coach Stewart and the coaching staff? Kind of what are you thinking at that point?
Well, at that time, Stu was kind of on me for the year after that. I was actually coming to a junior college in North Carolina on the coast, and you know, he was getting after me for the next year after that. But I think it actually came down to a home run derby in the Cal Ripken League. You know, I got my dad out there. They chose me to do it, and you know, he was throwing to me, and we ended up winning it. And I was talking to Stu the next day, just to catch up a little bit. I told him that, and I think that's what got Stu to hop on me there. It was about 3 weeks before UNO was ready to get back to school. But he you know, he said I was 40%, and that was about my only D1 offer. So I hopped on it right away. I couldn't say no to it, and once I got here, there was no looking back. You know, this was family all the way.
I was actually in New Jersey watching some summer travel ball stuff, and there was morning games going on, and I had been getting calls about this player from a summer coach in the Cal Ripken League, who I coached for probably 6 years ago before that time. And he kept telling me, hey, there's this really good player up here. He can really play. He's big. He has some power. No one's offered him. So, you know, I just can't go up to Maryland, New Jersey area whenever I want. So I was up there. There was morning games in New Jersey. I drove about 2-3 hours to DC to watch him play that night, and he was pretty good. He had just graduated high school. He was playing in a college league with Wood Bat. He was actually facing an arm from Ole Miss that pitched like 30-40 innings for him for Ole Miss that previous spring season. So he wasn't seeing, you know, bad pitching. He was seeing a good arm. He was handling his own amongst college players, and he was the only, you know, high school player out there. And he had like 3 hard hits, looked good, made some, just ran like his hair was on fire everywhere on the field. So I walk away thinking, man, this guy's really good. So I start making calls, seeing like if this is actually like who he is this how he is? Does he play this hard every day? Does he practice like this? And his high school coach verified everything, and some other guys that had seen him a couple times. It's like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. He plays hard. So we offered him, and I think maybe 3 days later he calls back and says, Coach, I'm in, I'm coming. All right, awesome. And this was probably about 4 weeks before school started. He still had nowhere to go. You know, we were just throwing it out there. We're not really sure, but ends up, you know, coming down here, and the rest is history with what he did offensively and, you know, how he carried our teams.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, nowadays recruiting, you know, there's so many people that have watched these players now. No one's really hidden anymore. It's very hard to kind of find that hidden gem per se. Because of, you know, nowadays technology and everything like that, Twitter, you know, no one's hidden anymore. So for Stu to go up there and just, again, you know, happily fall across this game, went and watched it, you know, and saw this kid, and he was pretty good. And heck, you know, the funny part about it, like I said, is Pearce never came on the visit. I mean, the first time that I met him, or he met anyone else besides talking, you know, to Stu, was the first day he showed up for school. You know, so next thing you know, a couple years later, he's the all-time hit leader and set all these records. I mean, it's a pretty cool story once you think about it, you know, the things that he's done from where he started to where he ended it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's complete luck, being in the right place at the right time. If I never would have made that trip to New Jersey, I never would have offered him, because I never would have been able to see him. So a little luck on that end, but then also, you know, just being out and active and seeing players and talking to guys, and you know, looking under every rock really. But that doesn't happen very often, where a player you have no idea about comes on 4 weeks before school. Usually you have a lot of history with players. You see them for a whole year, 2 years playing, and you know them. They're more, you know, in your region. But something like that hasn't really.
You know, I always thought that, you know, I could hit at this level. I always thought that I could, you know, make an impact for this team, and you know, just trusting it every day, and you know, showing up and putting in the work, and you know, probably, you know, around sophomore, junior year, I realized I could step up and, you know, really get going with it, because you know I think I learned a lot over the years. It did take me some time before you know I could get really consistent out there, and you know just talking to Blake, talking to Stu, learning everything here and there. Even my teammates, you know, I learned a lot from the veteran guys, you know, like Lauren Vayon, Jay Robinson, all them. You know, I took bits and pieces here and there, and you know, just was able to put it all together eventually. And you know, I think around that COVID year was when I started feeling like I could really make an impact here.
I think, you know, who he is and how tough he is, mentally tough, physically tough. He's a worker. He's got the right attitude. You know, he wasn't bothering him. He wasn't pouting when he was on the bench for the first 2 weeks. He was waiting his turn. He was working hard. He was ready when he got his turn. But it's funny because about, you know, the first week, I'm like, hey, Pearce, you know, you're not starting. You know, we got some JUCO guys that, you know, probably going to play over you. You need to make this a spring where you get in here and you gain 20 pounds. You get in the weight room a little bit extra every week. You eat, you gain weight, and be ready to go. And to his credit, he was probably like, okay, to me, and then he probably walked away saying like, I'm going to be ready to play this right now, because that's the type of person he is. You know, he's not looking forward to next year. He's ready to play right now. And, you know, to his credit, you know, had some guys fail. He got his opportunity. He never came in the light of since.
You know, I love Stu from the beginning. You know, Stu was there for me. I actually didn't meet any of the other coaches until I got out here, but you know, they took me in with open arms, and it was a climb from the beginning. You know, I was probably one of the bottom end of the recruits. I had a couple things to prove here and there, but you know, I struggled in the beginning. But you know, I think Blake and Stu, I think they saw something in me, and you know, they stuck it out with me. They, you know, gave me all the opportunity in the world to prove myself. So couldn't be more blessed for that. You know, looking back at all the ex-major leaguers and whatnot that played here, you know, I'm blessed for it for sure. But I gotta give all the credit to you know, the coaching staff and players here. They trusted me. They gave me every opportunity that they could. I've always thought that, you know, anybody in my situation, anybody can do it. But you know, I'm just blessed to be the one that was able to get that many opportunities for them. And you know, I think I still have a long ways to go before I, you know, become what a lot of those former guys were. But you know, every day I'm learning. Every day I'm trying to get better. So you know, I've said it a couple times, but I'm just very blessed, you know, to be in that situation.
You're talking about a guy that broke records, right? A guy that never came on a visit, was committed to a junior college, you know, was overlooked, you know, again, that guy, again, all these things that come into play are how hard he worked, his passion for the game, the way he dedicated himself to it. Those things didn't just fall into his lap and make him great. He worked at it every day. He cared about it. It mattered to him. And again, a guy you look back now, 10, 15 years from now, like, man, you know, Pearce is a little different too now, right? He beats to his own drum. I think that's, people would all tell you that about Pearce. But when you look at it 10, 15 years from now, it's a guy that beats to his own drum that broke records. That was phenomenal. That was a great player, and you'll get to reminisce about it, and I'll watch videos of him playing for years to come, and a guy that, man, really changed our program here for us.